Got a game to play. There we go. Alright. So, literally yesterday, we finished case 3. Which resulted in Lord Von Sanctus, Mr. Manslaughter himself, probably getting away and not really facing any, like, legal consequences, just court of public opinion will get him, I guess. How the severed ties? Play that. And I'm pretty sure I said before, but this person reminds me of Freyga. Let's play. Oh, yep, see, it's the webcam's doing the thing again. Oh, why it's like this? One moment. Come on. Whoa. Alright. Now, this. Nope. That didn't help at all. Okay. We'll just have to deal with it. I don't think I actually read what that said. I think it said something about Tyrion Cuthbert. Yeah, up until now we've been following the story of Tyrion Cuthbert. Experienced the world through his eyes and fought for justice through his soul. This time, why don't we start from the perspective of another? Oh god. More severed ties. Oh, Timora. Cuthbert read the client's mind without asking. I have a problem. Becoming more and more reckless with each passing year. If Frey was still alive, he would know what to do. It looked so effortless. Loved her. He'd listened to her if she was still here. I think he would. Considering it's his mom. Yeah, okay, Beatrice Freyga. That's why you... Yeah. Look like a Freyga. Something the matter, Timora. No, I was just thinking about something. Well, trial's about to begin. Don't doubt your abilities, but I'd still appreciate it if you remained focused. All of our futures are at stake, after all. Of course, Miss Freyga. Freelancer. That's supposed to mean. Just takes in a deep breath before she claps her hands together. Wrong. Nothing. Just the ritual that I use to calm myself. It's kind of like going off of Great Ace Attorney. Whenever Naruhodo would like take a deep breath and then slap both of his cheeks with his hands. Right, almost forgotten about that. More importantly, what are you doing? Yeah, what the f... Why are you here, Eris? To haunt my fucking computer. Father sent me to guide Beatrice through the courthouse. Yeah, okay, your dad is the eye taker. That was... What in God's name does this mean? new environment for her. We were both worried about her condition. Still can't believe you were the boss's daughter this entire time. You call him the boss. Why didn't you say anything at the academy? Oh? Knowing my true identity would have caused friction with your son, wouldn't it? Not my... Anyways, suppose I understand why you stayed quiet. I still don't appreciate being kept in the dark about this. Oh, speak of the devil. Spot Cuthbert and McCoy walking into the courtroom with the other members of the gallery. McCoy spots you and gives you a friendly, yet awkward smile. However, Cuthbert ignores you entirely and walks silently into the courtroom. Parental troubles? Had an argument earlier. Nothing to worry about. You say so. Are wary about what he saw in Beatrice's mind, though. He's always been a good kid, but his idealistic sense of justice clouds his judgment sometimes. You just hope that he's not planning to do anything reckless. Yeah, well, I know something reckless is going to happen. Trial's about to begin. You only have time to be making small talk here. Prosecutor Steelwind approaches the three of you. She appears to be accompanied by some— What the fuck? Wallace? Hello? What are you doing here? Well, he's accompanying me as my aide for this case. I see. I assume you'll be prosecuting? Of course. I would never pass up the opportunity to face the infamous Ruby Tymora. Really? If I recall correctly. You haven't even beaten Tyrion once so far. This is true. You are... Your first case was against Tyrion, and then you proceeded to lose every single case after that. But Miss Steelwind, don't strain yourself. What I look for, Beatrice. You almost look surprised to see me here. Considering the circumstances, I thought you might recuse yourself. I'm more than capable of being objective, especially for a case of this much importance. Well, hope your mind is as strong as you think it is. Damn, okay. Miss Steelwind, please calm down. You're not gonna get her to calm down. Oh, how I love a good reunion. This fucking mess. Court is now in session for the trial of Beatrice Frege. Steelwind, prosecution ready? Steelwind? Oh, of course. What is up with you? Prosecution is ready, Your Honor. The defense is also ready, Your Honor. We're playing as fucking Ruby. Just into the middle of a case. Okay. And she's fucking killing it. I'd say that much in terms of, like, looks. Look at that. Killing it. Something seems off about her today. Is her personal attachment to this case distracting her? Very well. Begin the proceedings. Prosecutor Steelwind, could you please list the charges? What is up? Your Honor, the defendant is charged with first-degree murder and grand theft. That's a new one. Maybe you know Beatrice Frege is a formerly missing daughter, the now late William Frege. And the victim of the murder is William Frege. Okay, so the accused of killing her dad. Okay. Yes, I'm well aware of that. The School of Wyvern will certainly mourn the loss of House Frege's head. Please. The only people mourning him are the banking house's shareholders. But anyways, you also say that the defendant is accused of grand theft? Yes, Your Honor. Crimes took place during the Lord's Ball, an event that was hosted in Frege Manor yesterday evening. The Heraldson Hall of History had a gallery display within the manor. They were showcasing several magical artifacts donated to the Wyvern Historical Society. One of these items was a sword of spell eating, a magical artifact that allows its wielder to nullify magical effects. Interesting. See? Sword of spell eating. An ancient artifact, when wielded by a creature, that creature and anything connected to them, physically or magically, are immune to all harmful magical effects. Legends say that it was forged through a blood contract between a mage and a demon. That's new. For demons. Oh, 1 second, messaged. Nope. We, the prosecution, believe that the defendant stole this item. She then used it to nullify the magical lock on the victim's study. Breaking into the study, she attacked the victim and slashed his throat open using a letter opener. She didn't use the sword. Okay? He died of blood loss shortly after. That he's got a schnoz. Officer report died at 3:12 a.m. The last of his throat was slashed open. Both arteries were severed. Death must have followed mere seconds after the wound was inflicted. Also, several scratch marks on the face and back. Traces of illusion magic were also found on the body. I see. What possible motive would the defendant have to murder her own father? William Frege and his daughter were not close. Saying that they had a strained relationship would be an understatement. In fact, 5 years prior to the murder, Beatrice abandoned and fled her home. She went into hiding and did not contact any of her friends or family. Her whereabouts were unknown, until she suddenly contacted her father a week ago. My client left the Frege household because of her toxic relationship with her father. She wanted to create a life of herself that was free from his influence and abuse. I would disagree with your claims. But that just highlights how desperate the defendant must have been. She had clearly fallen on hard times and begrudgingly contacted her father for financial aid. Can't possibly understand why they would schedule this meeting during the Lord's Ball. But nevertheless, several witnesses did see her that night. And these same witnesses saw her storming out of her father's study in anger. Father must have refused her request for gold, so she decided to murder him to claim his inheritance. God. Using a letter opener instead of a sword is crazy. Yeah, that's why I'm very confused. Like, you had a sword of spell eating. Yeah, it can eat spells, but it's still a sword. It can kill someone. Why do you need a letter opener? Luckily, prepared for this in advance. Yes, they're playing right into our hands. Now what? You're saying is all conjecture, Steelwind. You don't have any evidence or testimony that confirms what they spoke about. Yes, I'm wondering about what you and your client have refused to tell us what was discussed during that meeting. As long as you both stay silent, my claims are plausible. This is true. Be honest, Steelwind. Do you seriously think that my client committed these crimes in spite of her condition? What do you mean by that, Miss Timora? Why don't you tell him, Steelwind? Tell the court about my client's disability. Your Honor, Beatrice Frege is considered legally disabled. However, legally disabled? That's a convenient way of putting it, Steelwind. My client isn't just legally disabled. He's oh, what the fuck? Well, you're gonna have to explain how on earth she did this. She's completely blind. This is true. We have several medical documents and testimony from several chirurgeons attesting to that fact. My client is unable to see anything. The meaning of this, Miss Steelwind. You expect me to believe that a blind woman performed any of the acts you're accusing her of? Glad you also see how ridiculous these claims are, Your Honor. If the court would just let me elaborate. Fuck, Steelwind. The prosecution's first charge is grand theft. My client would have needed to break into a magically secured display case. Performing such an act would be a difficult task for anyone, much less my client. And the second charge is first-degree murder. Our client would have needed to use the Sword of Spell Eating on the lock, leading to the victim's study. Then she would have needed to grab a letter opener, overpower the victim, and deliver a precise and fatal blow to the victim's neck. Does any of that sound like a reasonable theory, Your Honor? She's fucking cooking her. Yeah, if you can't beat Tyrion, there was no way that this was gonna go well. You're getting cooked. Well, to agree with you this time, Mora. Well, sounds quite ludicrous, to be perfectly honest. Awful. Demons are clearly just attacking the Fregas now that their head is deceased. Oh boy. Enough! Your Honor, the court has not seen the evidence that supports this case. Nor have you listened to the Inquisition's testimony regarding their investigation. Until you have done so, you are in no position to pass judgment. Very well. Owen, suppose you have a point? So the young lady has some claws after all. She almost just won, immediately. But it doesn't matter. The case against Beatrice is questionable at best. An Iron Chef. You know, Gordon Ramsay be jealous. 5 Michelin stars. Frankly, the price and Steel wouldn't even went through with this. It's only a matter of time if the judge sees things your way. To begin, the prosecution would like to call Commander Orm White to the stand. What's up, Orm? Commander White, please testify to the court about the Inquisition's findings. Right. We didn't want to cause panic after the sword was stolen, so we activated the manor's silent security system, put an anti-magic field over the entire manor. We did a search of the house and we found the stolen sword in the defendant's bedroom. Didn't look like she was going to run, and Crown Prince Aster told us to stand down, so we just kept a close eye on her. William Frege was in a bad mood that night. He had already locked himself inside his study. An hour later, we entered the study and found him lying dead in a pool of blood. The lock was still engaged, and no one teleported in. Bert must have temporarily disabled the lock using the Sword of Spell Eating. Testimonies to say the defendant was seriously in debt. She must have murdered the victim to get a part of his inheritance. Case against Beatrice is just as you predicted. You already have a countermeasure to disprove the existence of any motive. All you have to do is present that to the courts. I do. Oh, yeah, I do. Last statement. Objection. Your Honor, the prosecution case against my client is riddled with holes. It really is. And the prosecution's proposed motive is the largest among them. What do you mean, Timora? Of all the elements in this case, the motive is the most believable. The client would have much to gain through her father's inheritance. That may be. That's assuming my client had anything to inherit at all. What? Your Honor, my client fled from her psychologically abusive father 5 years ago. How do you think he would have reacted to that? Lord Frege was a petty and vindictive man. You honestly think that he'd leave his inheritance to someone who disobeyed him so egregiously? No, he'd do everything in his power to make sure she didn't see a shred of his wealth. Yes, we're already well aware of this. She slams her cane down, you notice the prosecutor wince a little. She injured. Hides it and regains her composure. On the night of the murder, the victim made the decision to disinherit the defendant. However, his murder deprived him of the opportunity to submit his will to the attorney. This only further proves the defendant's motive. She would have needed to act quickly, lest her father submit the changed will. I'm afraid you're mistaken, Steelwood. William Frege didn't disinherit my client that night. He disinherited my client 5 years ago. I've witnessed testimony from Miriam Frege, William's youngest daughter. That's the girl from Nightgrave case. By her own admission, her father disinherited my client shortly after she fled the household. What? She never brought that up during questioning. Perhaps she's not as amicable to you as you thought. If you don't believe me, why don't we call her to the stand and ask her ourselves? What are you planning this time, Aura? I have no idea what you're talking. With that fucking face? Yeah, Well, it's clear we won't get anywhere until we hear from Miriam directly. Bailiff, please escort Miriam Freka to the stand. She does not look nearly as outspoken as she was before. Miriam, is the defense correct? Did your father disinherit Beatrice 5 years ago? Yes. And you didn't think it was necessary to share this information with me? But, well, you never asked. If I recall correctly, you also were tight-lipped during questioning this morning. You're staying quiet for your sister's sake. This is a little tense. The witness just lost her father. You can hardly expect to recall every detail that's relevant to the case. Which raises a more concerning question. How did you extract this information? Who knows? Maybe I just have a way with people. You're getting a little sus, Ruby. You're apparently friends with the Eye Taker, which is enough to be sus, but this is... Okay, regardless, I suppose you have a point. I'll give the witness the benefit of the doubt. For now. In any case, Miriam, please testify to the court about how you found out about Beatrice's disinheritance. Yes, of course. Now, what... One day, we all woke up and discovered that Beatrice had fled from our home. Ooh, excuse me. She left a note for us, and in it, she renounced her name and denounced my father. Father later called me and my sister into his study. He told us that he'd completely disowned Beatrice and removed any claim she had to the Frega estate. Probably a threat to us in case we ever chose to go down the same path she did. He wanted to make an example out of her. All happened 5 years ago. Okay. Could have said it to her 5 years ago, but didn't do it. Maybe. No, that does sound pretty plausible, actually. It's like, yeah, he said he did it, but like he's secretly hoping that she comes back. And she does come back, and then they have the conversation, and then he decides to, like, disinherit her then. That sounds... I see. Maybe he's not as petty and vindictive as I thought. And are you sure this all happened 5 years ago? Yes. Even now I can remember everything clearly. Speech is getting slower. She deep in thought. Nightgrave seems extremely concerned for some reason. And Leif? Leif? Leaf? I'm gonna say Leif. And Leif was there with you at this meeting. I assume that's the other sister. Yes, she was. However, Leif could have possibly been there. Getting more slurred. He also balances. She's not. She's not okay. What is happening? Of course, okay. What? The Scaled Lord, is that blood? Blood. Bailiff, find anyone capable of casting healing. Nightgrave is right there. Report them to the courtroom immediately. From scrambling, a couple of heroes are able to help Nightgrave stabilize the prosecutor. Chaos, you caught a glimpse of her. Deep wounds and blood on several parts of her body. Use some kind of illusion to hide them, but her disguise is completely dissipated now. Before Steele was taken out of the courtroom, catch her whispering something into Nightgrave's ear. You look at confusion from him, but he nods and makes his way to the witness stand. Not before passing on a message onto the bailiff, who seems equally confused. What the hell is going on? Nightgrave, explain yourself. What's going on? Why was Miss Steelwind so gravely injured? Sorry. I wasn't actually here as Miss Steelwind's aide. I was here as her healer. Truth is, Steelen was violently attacked at noon today. She was in critical condition, but she insisted on prosecuting the case anyways. I owed her a favor, and she asked me to channel my necromancy to keep her wounds closed during the trial. Scared Lord, why didn't she just recuse herself? She must have known. If anyone else tried to prosecute Beatrice, you would have handily won the trial. Nevertheless, she showed up to prosecute because no one else would. She did it all despite the risk to her life. It almost makes you respect her a little. I mean, it makes me respect her. But I guess not you, Ruby. Almost. Anyways, is there any need to prolong this trial, Your Honor? What? Even you must acknowledge how weak the case against my client is. In addition to that, Miriam's testimony shows that my client had nothing to gain from her father's death. But Miss Steelwind has been gravely injured, yeah. You're still only concerned about... The only thing I'm concerned about is seeking justice for my client. Even so, we cannot move forward until we find another prosecutor. How long do you think that will take, Your Honor? It's almost been 12 hours since the murder took place. That gives us, what, 36 hours? After that, every magical trace of the crime scene will fully disappear. It's my instant respect? Yeah. Ruby is very clearly a little more shady than led to believe. She's still cool though. Just shady. But there might be someone... If Steelwind had simply allowed another prosecutor to work this case, we wouldn't be in this situation. She took a risk and now she has to pay the price. Wouldn't you agree, Your Honor? I'm not exactly proud of winning this way. This is what it takes to win. And you won't let another opportunity like this pass you by. He's clearly unhappy with this turn of events. But it's out of his hands now. Well, due to today's unprecedented events, suppose I have no choice. This is crazy. There aren't any prosecutors available to immediately take Miss Steelwind's place. We will take a brief recess. After that, I'll deliver my verdict.
Objection!
What? Tyrion! What the fuck? Well, I'm afraid you can't pass a verdict just yet. Mr. Cuthbert. What the hell are you doing? I don't know. What I do know is that there was a massive contradiction in Miriam Frega's testimony. It's like things aren't going to be as simple as you expected. We're getting a fucking civil case now? Not, what, 5 games in? No, not 5, 6 games in? It's a Xavier well, this is the second civil case, but between 2 attorneys that we know. The night before, we're gonna go back to Tyrion's point of view. Yeah, here we are.
You're so out of place here. About your clear hatred for the nobility.
You found yourself at a party filled with aristocrats. Why are you here? I hardly recognize anyone. Many of the people here clearly recognize you. You're used to receiving dirty looks from the upper class, but you can literally feel everyone's disdain for you. Oh my god, Celeste. Why are you in the corner by yourself? I can't believe I let you talk me into coming here. Oh, whoa! Celeste, in... Recently know you lose your train of thought. I'm gonna wear this dress for a while now. What do you think? You look great. Looking good on you, Celeste. You're good. Wrong.
Suddenly feel extremely flustered. Difficult to make eye contact with her. Oh, I see.
What are you eye-seeing? Goddamn nerd. Are you enchanted by my beauty?
Come on, say something. Ever since the night in Aranax, you felt like something has been off between you two.
Fucking luck. Am I interrupting something? I wanted to check in on you two before we went to meet with Lord Frege. About a woman silently following behind her. She's the client that Miss Timora is representing. Pretty sure this is your first time meeting her, but she still looks familiar for some reason. Hi, you're Cuthbert? I'm Timora's ward. Yeah, that's the word. Extend out your hand to shake hers. She has an aristocratic air to her, so you hope you're not being too informal. Instead of taking your hand, she claps her hands together and takes a deep breath. What? So sorry, I didn't mean to do that. It's a bit of a habit of mine. Oh. Nevertheless, she finally shakes her hand. There's something to that. I've heard much about you, Mr. Cuthbert. My name is Beatrice. Not sure about the details. Your mentor appears to be brokering a deal between Beatrice and William Frege. William Frege is the ruling lord of House Frege, so you're a little curious about what kind of deal he'd be involved in. You've learned not to pry into your mentor's business. Anyways, we'll probably be gone for a while. Can I trust you two not to cause trouble? You're in a manor filled with the highest members of the nobility. You might meet some familiar yet unfriendly faces. We'll keep a low profile this time, Laura. Yeah, I don't really know anyone here. Them, I hate him so much. Yep. He's made a name for himself. It's the cost of pursuing justice at all costs. Everybody who doesn't like the way you're approaching this system fucking hates you. And in this situation, it's the most powerful people in the country. Please do. So, why were you so insistent on accompanying Miss Timora to Lord's Ball? That's what's up. No, you can tell me anything, right? Oh. Everything that happened in Ornas made me think about things. I didn't really know anything about my past or where I came from. I didn't want to think about it because of my dad and my mom, but I wanted to find out who your biological parents are. I do, but I don't know now. Being here is starting to make me feel weird. Oh, my mom. Looking for my birth parents feels wrong somehow. I don't think that's true. Really? Miss Timora adopted me when I was a child. She gave me a purpose in life. But I still keep my childhood memories from my mother close to me. Miss Timora and my mother are both important to me. I don't think it's disrespectful to find out more about yourself. I'm sure your mother will understand. I think so. Of course. I'm also sure of another thing. If I'm with you, I doubt any of the nobles here will want to speak with you. Yeah, I didn't want to be rude, but don't worry, I can find something to fill the time. Just gonna play chess alone, aren't you? Yes, that's probably... exactly, maybe? Really need to learn to talk to other people. Some new friends or something. I don't need more friends. I usually want to spend most of my time with... I usually want to spend most of my time with you anyways. Yeah, that was out of left field. Anyways, I'm gonna try to talk to some people. Yeah, see you later. Thus leaves to mingle with some of the other partygoers. Find yourself with very little to do. You doubt anyone will want to engage in small talk from the likes of you. Your hand instinctively goes to your satchel. It contains your foldable chessboard. Yeah, listen, I called you a nerd for this the first time I read it, and you're still a nerd. Well, not as if I have anything better to do. Should try to find an empty table to play on. Take a look. There's a lot going on. Several gold-tinted chandeliers hang from the ceiling of the ballroom. Look fancy enough to be worth a small fortune. Irks you a little how much wealth Lord Frege must be hoarding to afford all of this. Yeah. Each table has a centerpiece of flowers on it. The whole room hates him and wants him to disappear. Yep. I'm pretty sure that, like... You want... No, never mind. Never mind. What's that here? Table has a centerpiece of flowers on it. Most of these seats at the tables are filled. Doesn't look like you'll be able to play here. Alright. Away. This place looks pretty quiet. There aren't any tables anywhere. Well, I could play on the floor. Whoa, dog. Whoa. Okay. What the... Walking through the hallways, you suddenly find yourself face to face with a large wolf. Immediately upon seeing you, the wolf quickly gallops away. Did someone leave a door open? Think about telling someone, but you remember that the manor is full of nobles. Sure, a servant will spot it eventually, and it's not as if anyone will believe you anyways. Would it be probably best to find somewhere else to play? What are these things? There are several jewels mounted on the wall. They all look equidistant from each other. I know how to say that one. I already know that House Rhaego is wealthy, but embedding jewels into the walls makes the place look pretty tacky. If for a place that you actively live in, yeah. Even have golden chandeliers in the hallways. It's ridiculous when you really think about it. Gallery. Ah, this is where the sword is. Look further on the manor and find a room with several displays. Looks like a gallery of some sort. It's slightly out of place here. There are a few nobles in the room. They're all silently appreciating the exhibits. Perhaps Lord Frege paid a museum to create some historical displays for the Lord's Ball. There's a face I haven't seen before. What on earth? Who... Your hat's a little too big for you, friend. And what is that on your shoulder? So you take a closer look at one of the exhibits. Old man approaches you. Is that a monkey on his back? It's a monkey? Oh wait, no, I can see it. Hello, my name is Harold Haroldson. Yeah, I'm the curator of this collection. Harold Haroldson? Is that a pseudonym or something? I'm glad it has been brought up, and his response is no. See. Wait, he's a museum curator?
Must be extremely knowledgeable about Wyverngard's history.
You wonder. Would you happen to know anything about the ancient dragons? Ah, like the Scaled Lord Thalion. There are many pieces in this gallery, and some of them were items that were wielded by the 7 heroes of Wyverngard. Legends say, some of these items were directly enchanted by Rathalion himself. And they also don't follow the rules of magic. Perhaps you should examine the items more closely. Alright, take a look at those in a sec. The jewels in the wall serve another purpose. I wouldn't be surprised. Like, there's the... I'm sorry that I responded to this a little late, but in the first case, there was the artificery, like magic lights on the wall. I imagine that there's kind of those, but those were way bigger. Well, at least the ones in this manor are way bigger than the ones in the tavern. And there's a lot more of them, so... What's a historian doing at the Lord's Ball, Mr. Haroldson, there. Harold. Right. Harold. Angry monkey, too. Anyways, Lord Frege invites my museum to set up displays here every year. I was thinking it adds a semblance of culture. Cool. You want a museum? Yes, it's the Haroldson Hall of History, located in the city of Homhereth. A mouthful. Unfortunately, I don't think his guests appreciate the historical significance of these items. There's an Ace Attorney character that kind of does this. And I forget his name. But he does, like, he holds, like, a jewel and he looks through, like, a loop, or whatever it's called, and, like, inspects it. Honestly, I think you're the only person in years who's taken a meaningful interest in them. Right? Well, let's be more meaningful. It's a pair of metallic armbands. There are several magical runes carved onto them. These are the armbands of intellect. They were actually created by a member of House Freyga many centuries ago. Centuries? I would make these armbands one of the first creations of artificery. That's correct. Legends say that whoever wore these armbands would be granted unparalleled levels of intellect. Many believe that House Freyga created these to aid them in their study of magic. Okay. Who's this old-timer? Painting of some sort of scientist. And it's Dr. Luke Wepfer? Or is it Wepfer? Okay, silent. He was an alchemist and an inventor from one of the branch families. Well known for his studies in viewing intelligence into automatons. Intelligent automatons. That made them similar to arcane constructs? Yes, actually. I wouldn't be surprised if Lord Von Sanctus used Dr. Wepfer's research to create those constructs. So in essence, Von Sanctus is taking credit for someone else's work. This is the titular sword. We'll do this one last. It's a painting of a researcher. That's Professor Matt Furland. He's a professor of some renown. He's a researcher of combinatorial magic theory. That study of how different types of magic interact with each other. Famously ran an experiment on what would happen if two anti-magic fields overlapped each other. That's a good experiment to do. What happens? What are the results of the experiment? Well, they had mages enter the space where the two fields overlapped. Turns out that those mages were able to use their magic in that space. Interesting. Wait, how would that be possible? I have two anti-magic fields affecting them. Do they just cancel each other out? Yeah, I've heard that it's akin to multiplying two negative numbers together. Pair of golden earrings. There are several small jewels embedded into each of them. Those are the earrings of vitality. The Scale Lord imbued a portion of his immortality into these. It just said that whoever wore them would have their lifespan increased tenfold. Lord do things like that? Of course, he is the Scared Lord after all. Any spells that can create similar effects to these earrings? That I know of. A spell like that would probably fall into the school of necromancy. I'm sure you know how much the kingdom scrutinizes that type of magic. Yeah, we do. Alright. Holy shit. Is that the ice cream truck? Oh my god, it is. Man. I'd get some right now, but I'm pretty sure we already have ice cream in like the freezer. There's no point. It's a crimson red short sword. A sword of spell eating. Legends say that it has the power to protect its wielder from any kind of magic. It's like an anti-magic field. In a way, yes. But it has less than heroic origins, I'm afraid. It's said that the sword was created through a blood pact between a mage and a demon. Legends say that some demons had the power to absorb and nullify magic. The demon must have imbued some of that power into this sword. Or at least that's what the legends say. Spell eating. Is it safe to put something like this on display? What if the legends are true? Don't worry, displays are fortified with several abjuration spells. I bet even Lord Steelwind would have trouble getting into this. Yeah, everyone talks about Lord Steelwind like he can fucking glass an entire city. Oh, I guess this opened up before. Let's talk about your small monkey. Sorry, I really have to ask. Is that a monkey riding on your back? Yes, this is my familiar, Eugene. You're familiar? Familiar is a creature that a mage has formed a magical bond with. With that bond, our souls are forever connected. I can communicate with him telepathically. I could even cast my spells through him if I wanted to. Really? I never knew a spell like that existed. It's quite rare. Very few mages take the time to learn how to cast it. Hey, I have a familiar. I got Nene. Good old teddy bear. But until I lock the ability to have channel points, there is no TTS to have him on screen. So one day, Nene will sit here with me. Familial bond, Combination Reterum. Yep. For any distance, used to see through the target's eyes. I see the caster can also cast spells from the location of the target creature instead of their own location. Bonus form, neither the caster nor the target can form bonds with any other creature. This bond can only be broken in death. Eugene helps me with my day-to-day. The old bones aren't as spry as they used to be, after all. Ancient Dragons. Harold. As a historian, we have a lot of knowledge about the ancient dragons. Oh! Yay, wait, that's fraud. Oh. Yeah, that's probably what's happened here. This Beatrice is blind, but she has a familiar, and she can look through the familiar's eyes, and then, boom, she can operate like normal. Kind of. That's definitely like jarring, but I think if you grew up having to like use that spell and do that, you'd be pretty good at it. Historian, a lot of knowledge about the ancient dragons. The answer to that question is somewhat complicated. What do you mean? Fortunately, a lot of historical texts in my collection have been altered or even outright destroyed by the Church of Bahamut. So that, it's quite difficult to separate myths from actual historical accounts. Right. I remember encountering a similar problem at the Imperial Academy. Ah, you're quite dedicated to your studies. This simpleton into the Imperial Academy? Rude. You suppose that can't be helped. I had to fight the church for a long time before I could even display dragon bones in my museum. Power of Dragons. In the history of ancient dragons, is there any instance of them granting power to humans? Well, of course. The entire premise behind the 7 Heroes of Wyvangard. Does this idiot not even know about that? Right, but was there anything before that? Did they ever grant supernatural abilities that didn't follow the rules of arcane magic? Granting supernatural abilities, you say. Sounds more like something demonic in nature, rather than draconic. Demonic? Like the ancient dragons, demons are the stuff of myths. There are many stories of people selling their souls for untold power. Selling their souls? Recall the note that your mother left you before she was executed. Use my eyes peer beyond the divine gate as I once did. To use her eyes. Did your mother make a deal with a demon to give you the Eye of Horus? That'd be a little wild. Something wrong? Simpleton is far too superstitious. No, nothing's wrong. Bit too much to take in, but you might just be overthinking this. There haven't been any recorded sightings of demons in recent history. There are only secondhand stories and superstitions. The Eye of Horus can't possibly be demonic. Can it? I mean, Horus is, what, like Egyptian god? I don't think it's demonic. Could be like angelic, maybe. Are there angels? Or, I guess in this context, not angels, celestials? Hope Celeste's investigation is going better than yours. What? How dare you insinuate that I engaged in an adulterous relationship? It's not what I... Oh, because she's trying to get information to try and find what her birth parents are. Enough. Try to speak with me again. I'll have the King's Guard throw you out. Ah, isn't working. I don't think asking him like that will be very effective. What? Do you expect anyone here to be truthful with you? Whoa! She's killing it too. Go on, Steelwood. You're essentially asking them if they cheated on their spouses. You've been spying on me. Not intentionally. I was just surprised to see you here after all, of all places. Right, I guess that makes sense. You're not party crashing, are you? Of course not, I came here with Ruby and Tyrion. That honestly raises more questions than answers.
I'll take your word for it.
Anyways, you're looking for your birth parents, aren't you? But being that obvious,
The only reason I can think of. Why else would you be trying to speak with members of the nobility?
I don't know if it's any of my business. Think hard about whether this is what you truly want. Getting entangled in the aristocracy will only bring you misery. I've read your file. You have everything you could ever want. You have your mother and your friends. You even have a lover. What? You're in a relationship with Mr. Cuthbert. Are you not? What?
No, Tyrion's not my... Really? We two behave around one another, I just assumed. Pretty obvious you have feelings for him.
What? How obvious?
Seriously not notice? Like someone with his detective reasoning skills would easily see through you.
I mean, it's classic anime MC obliviousness. Which I won't say is, like, completely, like, a myth in, like, real life. Like, men tend to be rather oblivious. Speaking from, like, a small experience, but... eh. Oh yeah? What about you and Aster? I have no idea what you're talking about. That's... Stop capping. You're worse. You are actively worse.
I was there at Von Sanctus's manor. It's so obvious you like him. Please. You're grossly exaggerating things. Maybe my fiance, but I only have the utmost respect for him. What if I told you he was standing right behind you? You honestly think I'd fall for something like that? You falling for?
There we go. Exactly.
Your Highness.
Oh. Hello, Lady Steel. Who the fuck? Are you the little... You have the same thing as Aster. Are you a little brother? Highness, please don't run ahead like that. Your conversation with Harold was definitely... interesting. But you still find yourself with very few leads. Be it dragons or demons, the origins of Eye of Horus still remain a mystery. You find yourself returning to the ballroom, and you spot Celeste in the corner with some other people. Is she with Aster and Steelwind? Hey, Aster, what do you think of Steelwind's dress? Suits you very well, Miss Steelwind. You look lovely. There you go. It's the bottom speak on the screen again. Gross. So you approach the group, you're stopped by a knight from the King's Guard. Stares you down. What? Repario Arcanum. Oh, that's the... yeah, Detect Magic. The knight stares you up and down. Bliss hasn't cast any spells on you lately, so you shouldn't be able to see any traces of magic. Oh, Mr. Cuthbert. What was that all about? My apologies. They were making sure you weren't disguising yourself with an illusion. The King's Guard are charged with keeping us safe. It's taken every precaution to protect us. Oh? Who might you be? Do not speak so familiar with me, peasant. Alaric, don't speak to him like that. Why shouldn't I speak to him as I please? I am Prince Alaric the Wyvern the sixth. I will not demote myself by showing courtesy to a commoner. Do you mean demean? Like a 7-year-old.
terribly sorry about him, Mr. Cuthbert. It's fine. Anyways, weren't you supposed to be investigating your birth parents? Leave the poor woman alone. She started it. Right. I'm quite surprised to see you both here. What brings you to Lord's Ball, Mr. Cuthbert? You were just accompanying Miss Timora. Your client has business with Lord Frege. Her client? Whoa! How can she see us? She's looking at us, and she is bad. Beatrice. And you're afraid and sad. What is... Oh boy. Beatrice suddenly storms through the ballroom. She almost walks right past you before she hears... Okay, she wasn't looking at us. She was just storming out. She looks furious. Did her discussion with Lord Frege go badly? Oh, that voice. Not you, Aster. Really is you. She called him Aster instead of your highness. They personally know each other. Yeah. Good catch. Glad to see you again. It's been quite some time. Happy? Is that really all you have to say? What is with the emotions? Appears you two have much to talk about. I'll be taking my leave. Oh boy. This is awkward. What the fuck? There's a bit of tension in the air. Celeste, we should probably get going too. Yeah. Wow, that was awkward. Yeah, I wonder how those two know each other. He's working with Miss Timora. Somehow knows Lord Frege and the Crown Prince? Just who is she? Well, I suppose it's none of your business. You gotta learn one of these days, Tyrion. And just ask. Anyways, how did your investigation go? Got nothing. I think all I did was make a bunch of the nobles mad. Sorry. I know you really wanted answers. I'm sure something will come up. I think so. Might be a little irresponsible to give her hope like this. Noble abandoned her at a tavern in a rundown village. I doubt someone like that would make themselves easy to find. Eh. No, hold on. Like the obvious, the most stereotypical, like, reveal is that she's royalty, but I'm looking, like, I'm comparing the hair to, like, Alaric's, and it's close. Hers is a little more white, though, and her eyes are a deeper orange. That's probably not the case. What would this like to be total loss? Come on, dance with me. Ah, she's afraid. Well, nervous is what I guess this is. What? It's not really something I feel like that. How often do we get to go to a party like this? When you have a chance to object, she grabs your hand and starts dragging you to the middle. Not the middle of the room. You receive a few dirty looks from the aristocrats nearby. Less people staring at us. Here's what they think. They're nobles. They're gonna hate us no matter what we do. This is true. He takes hold of your other hand and begins to pull you into a waltz. Whoa! You know how to dance, I've never done this before. Man looks like me trying to slow dance. There's like sound effects of like shoes skidding on the floor. Pretty good. This is very cute. Alright. That's easy. Just stop being so awkward about it. Easy for her to say. Alright, just tell me what I need to do. First. Okay, well this is even better. This is even cuter. We'll take that. Yoinked. Well no, the emotion thing.
One swift motion, she pulls your body close to hers. There we go. Watch my movements and try to follow my lead. You seem to know a lot about these things. Well, I imagine she had to have done like something. Well, something like this during her mercenary days. Ah, I called it. I just had to click. I do a lot of networking when I was a mercenary. You know how many times I had to charm a merchant into hiring me? I see. You don't know much about her, do you? Carefully watch the position of her feet and try to match her movements. For a while, find yourself able to match her rhythm. You still accidentally step on her foot every few beats. She doesn't seem fazed by it. Either she's being polite or she genuinely doesn't feel anything. You're getting it. Don't focus so much on where your feet are. Look at me. What? Come on, do it. Try to break eye contact with her, but every time you do, you slowly find yourself being drawn back to her eyes. You feel so embarrassed that you're becoming lightheaded. And you find yourself perspiring more than usual. But at the same time, you don't have any urge to break away from her. There's a comforting warmth behind all that anxiety you're feeling. Ah, there he is. The infamous Tyrion Cuthbert. Never turns away from a challenging noble, but can't dance a step to save his life. Her expression doesn't betray a hint of it, but you still detect feelings of nervousness from her. She's just as flustered as you are. Find yourself relaxing a bit more. You're somehow able to continue matching her movements. See? There you go. Although what? What is it? You know the man is supposed to lead, right? Maybe I don't subscribe to gender stereotypes. Fucking preach, Tyrion. Or maybe you just suck at this. It's been a while since you've felt this calm. It's always been something that you needed to prepare for. A client that needed saving, a culprit that needed catching. You're quite content with the one brief moment you're able to spend with her. That was nice. You almost find yourself getting lost in the mood. Until you spot a familiar face accompanied by a legion of knights. No, don't tell me. The knights storm their way toward where Beatrice and Aster are. Several of the attendees take notice. They all stop what they're doing to see what's going on. Right, so this is when she gets arrested. Yeah. If you hadn't picked it up, Tyrion, she's a Frege. Damn it. It was just getting good. Or Celeste. Should go see what's happening, shouldn't we? Yeah, let's go. Hey, locked-in prince. You are completely out of line, Commander. Thought I told you to stand down. You not recognize who you're speaking to? Let go of Lady Frege. I can't really do that, Your Highness. Aster, what's going on? It's Lord Frege, who's found murdered in his study. These cretins think that Beatrice is behind it somehow. Sorry, Your Highness. My orders come straight from Steelwind. Lady Steelwind sent you. Beatrice takes in a deep breath and clasps her hands together. I should go with them. What? No. Brother was right. They have no right to... I want to cause friction between you and Arya. She's always been meticulous. I'm sure she's just being careful. I'm sure I'll be exonerated once they're thoroughly investigated what happened. Okay. Only if that's what you truly want. Right? You can't just let them take her away. Brother? It's correct. It's not our place to interfere with the laws of our kingdom. But however... Yes, Your Highness? Miss Beatrice is blind. One of your knights will need to escort her. She's what? Say she's blind? Or just we're picking up the clues from before. That's all. Anyways, we're gonna need to take you to a holding cell, lady. One of you just stay with her and guide her through. Please. I may be disabled, but I'm not a child. She just walks past the knights and towards the foyer. Because she already knows the way out. Poor fucking Orm.
Didn't you all be following her? But right, Inquisition, move out.
Definitely didn't expect the night to go like this. What is going on here? Yeah, I think she did it. It took a second, but yeah, I think she did it. Especially if we're gonna play as Tyrion, so that way we always win. It means we're gonna beat Tymora. Also, I completely fucked up. You know what? It's fine. We're just... I definitely messed up the save rotation. We're just gonna deal with it. 1850 is the time of day. It's 6:50 p.m. EST for me right now. This is not playtime. Alright. Can't believe they kept us until noon. Lord's ball was already running well into the night, even before the murder. Jesus! Like nothing more than to catch up on your lost sleep. She made a promise to ask her. Doesn't make any sense. She was with me and my brother the entire night.
Right, you were there when she met with him in Steelwind. She couldn't have stolen the sword of spell eating and have murdered her father.
Understand. All the people that could have done this. Why would Steelwind suspect a blind woman? Mr. Cuthbert, did you defend Beatrice against these awful charges? I don't think I even need to. What? Beatrice is Ruby's client. I'm sure that she'll be the one defending her. Well, certainly puts my mind at ease. Yeah, what's wrong? I don't know if I'm asking too much. You still investigate the crime scene for me, Mr. Cuthbert. What? We just said that Miss Tymora will... I know, and I don't doubt her abilities. Beatrice is a dear friend of mine. I'd like every chance for her to be found innocent. She was a dear friend. They must have known each other since he's a Frege. Why would Miss Tymora, of all people, present a member of a noble house? Still a lot of things you don't know about her. Of course, I'll also compensate you for your services. Hey, that's immediately why we should do this. Consider yourselves blessed. A commoner like you could only dream of a job like this. Alright, buddy. Alaric. Tiny Prince has a point though. Payment from the Crown Prince does sound tempting. I can't believe this. Les returns to the ballroom. She's changed back into her normal clothes. Wrong. People in the courtroom said they couldn't find my sword. They told me that someone must have stolen it. What? You gotta put like a fucking tracker or something on this thing. Why would someone want to steal Celeste's sword?
Aside from your group, everyone else at the ball was an aristocrat.
I do recall her saying that it was forged in the Eastern Kingdoms.
Someone might have stolen it because of its rarity.
It was probably used in the murder.
You can probably keep an eye out for it while we investigate the manor. This might all just be some kind of mistake. I hope so.
But anyways, where should we start first? Head to the crime scene. We're hearing that they found Lord Frege's body in his study. Go over there. Alright, away we go. There it is. Yeah, this is a pretty good office. I feel like it's missing something in this corner, but... Good taste, Frege. Well, William Frege, who's now dead. After the crime scene, it's seen the usual swarm of Inquisition knights. However, you also spot some members of the Kingsguard. They're working together since the victim is one of the Pillar families. So Kingsguard does not only work with royal family. Noted. I was expecting to see you here, Mr. Cuthbert. I thought Ruby Tymora was defending this case. Muscular Steelwind approaches you as you enter the study. He's followed by an unexpected yet familiar face. Wallace, what are you doing here? He's here as my aide for the investigation. You don't doubt Wallace's abilities, but you can't think of any reason why Steele would need his help. You suppose it's none of your business. You need to start asking questions. I'm getting tired of seeing this line, buddy. You're a homicide attorney. Please ask questions. For the love of goddamn. Like, I get it. You don't want to be nosy, but you gotta break this habit. Anyways, we're here on behalf of Crown Prince Aster. He hired us to investigate this case independently. I see. I'm sure he just wants to make sure the investigation goes smoothly. Well, here on behalf of His Highness, I'll do whatever I can to help you. The whole situation is quite unorthodox. The goal remains the same. Perhaps Steelman can tell you more about what happened. Talk to me. William Frege was found dead in his room. Well, dead in this room after the lockdown was lifted. Wait, lockdown? What lockdown? From what we can tell, the throat had been slashed open with a letter opener. The cause of death was blood loss. Both his carotid arteries were severed. Here's the autopsy report if you want a detailed description. Yep. I've already seen this one. Were you able to find the murder weapon? Yes. The murderer left it at the crime scene. It was a letter opener owned by the victim. The murderer must have found it in the room and used it. There was one strange detail about the weapon. The handle was completely shattered. I'm not sure what to make of that detail, but it's as if something crushed the handle using tremendous force. What could have caused the handle to shatter like that? It's a lockdown. Mentioned that there was a lockdown. When did this happen? You didn't notice? The Inquisition did try to be discreet. If everyone noticed the commotion Beatrice and the two princes made over it. I suppose you two must have been lost in your own little world, weren't you? That's jealousy, and I am sorry, Arya. Oh. Anyways, so that Lord Frege's body was found after the lockdown. That means that something else must have happened prior. Supposedly, someone had broken into one of the Heraldson exhibits. One of the magical artifacts was stolen. So a theft last night. The Manor lockdown system behaved like the one at the Imperial Academy. Systems are somewhat different. Unlike the Imperial Academy, the lockdown only prevents people from leaving or entering the manor. Not all of the rooms were locked. What about this specific room? This room does have observation wards that lock the door and prevent teleportation in and out of it. And in addition to that, the system placed an anti-magic field over the manor. That. Anti-magic field is a spell that nullifies all magic within it. I'm surprised you don't know this. I feel like this feels like something you should know, Tyrion. Cauteria. I'm just gonna say that. Cauteria. While concentrating on the spell, the caster forms a 10-foot radius spear. The spell effect of the sphere instantly dissipates. Any mage who tries to cast a spell within the zone will fail to do so. And yeah, the cancelling out effect. And it lasts indefinitely. Jesus. But it does say concentration. And the system somehow covered the entire manor in this effect. You noticed, there are several purple crystals embedded in the walls of the manor. Here you go, Arya. Each of those crystals produced an anti-magic field during the lockdown, so that's what they were for. They weren't like lights, they did have an express purpose. So no one could cast magic during the entirety of the lockdown? Not exactly. Someone could have used the stolen artifact to circumvent it. How so? What artifact was it? It was a sort of spell eating. It was the demon forge item that could supposedly nullify magic. True, someone could have used it to counteract the lockdown system. The heraldson reported the theft, the Inquisition discreetly placed the manor on lockdown. They searched every room in the manor to try and find it. It was eventually found in Beatrice's bedroom. That led them to believe that she had stolen it. That's correct. The Kingsguard moved to arrest her, but Prince Aster ordered them to step down. It didn't look like she was planning on fleeing, so they planned to wait until after the party had ended. Then they found Lord Frega's body. Correct. We believe that she used the stolen sword to nullify the magical locks and break into Lord Frega's study. If she had the sword, why didn't she use that to commit the murder? Thank you, Celeste.
We're not entirely sure. We have a few working theories.
Might have wanted to prevent the theft from being tied to the murder. Perhaps she had more confidence wielding a knife over a sword. Regardless of her reasons, it's clear that the sword wasn't the murder weapon. Not just she's not being implicated in Lord Frega's murder. She's also being charged with stealing the sword of spell eating. Possible reason would she have to either? What possible reason would she have to do either of those crimes? Very interesting. We drink. Ooh, nice. Lord Frege in the study. His body was found here. Was Lord Frege locked in this room during the lockdown? Yes. William Frege knew that the room should have been secured.
He was supposedly in a bad mood.
He had locked himself in this room for most of the night. He refused to let anyone in the room. The only person he spoke to after that was his daughter. His daughter? You talking about Miriam? No. Lord Frege had another daughter. Referring to... Oh. Leif Frege. Lord Frege's middle child. She tried to tell her father about the theft, but he was apparently preoccupied with something else. Said that he wanted to stay in his study for the rest of the night. This happened shortly before the lockdown was activated, a little after 1 a.m. Let's see. You don't look like your sisters. I would have never guessed. Leif must have been the last person to see Lord Frege alive then. You speak with her and get more details about Lord Frege's actions that night. Otherwise, still win. You have a map of the manor? I do. Would you like a copy? Please and thank you. Yoink. Guess what I'm gonna be able to look at? This is the main ballroom. This is the study. Sitting room, coat room. Excuse me. It's a stairway, which is him going up. It's a bathroom, kitchen, and a pantry. So, like, where's... Oh, I guess the ballroom doubles as, like, the dining room. Okay. And there's 2 floors they're giving us. Okay. This case might be a little... Immediately I'm like, the stairways don't really match up, do they? I'm guessing there's more house above this, because stairways doesn't match. Okay. William's bedroom. Leif's, William's, and Beatrice's. Gallery's on the 2nd floor? So we just kind of like bummed around, went upstairs, and then found the gallery to like look at. Okay. There's a rooftop garden and stuff. Alright. With any other witnesses aside from Leif who saw Lord Frege that night? Perhaps someone heard what happened from a nearby room. There was someone who heard the altercation, but it was quite obscured. The servant was trapped in a storage room nearby. There's an air vent that connects this room with that storage room. He supposedly heard sounds of a struggle through the vent. This is witness here. Sounds of a struggle before he heard Lord Frege choking on his own blood. When lockdown was lifted, he informed the Kingsguard of what he heard. That's when they discovered the body. See, it was a servant. I believe you actually know him. His name is Jan Hughes. Jan? Never expect to see him again, much less here of all places. But if you heard the altercation, you'll definitely want to speak with him. Yeah. You get fired. What happened? I think I'm lacking a lot of information about the defendant. From the way you're both acting, you and Aster seem to know her. Her mentor didn't tell you about her. No, I try not to pry into her business. Let's see. I honestly don't know much about what happened either. Beatrice was Lord Freyga's eldest daughter and the former heir to House Freyga. Former heir? About 5 years ago, she fled Freyga Manor and went into hiding. None of us knew where she'd gone, nor at any attempts we made to contact her. She even used her magic to prevent us from scrying her. Last night's ball was the first time in years that Aster and I had seen her. Hey, that's true. How did Miss Timora meet her? Yeah. Would you happen to know why Would you happen to know why Beatrice was meeting with her father after all these years? Again, I can speak. I have some ideas. Nothing concrete. I was hoping you could tell me. Timora and Beatrice have both refused to disclose anything about their meeting. Damn it. What's that meeting have been about? Speaking of which, I haven't seen Timora anywhere in the manor. As the defendant's attorney, I would have thought that she'd be here to investigate the murder alongside you. He is strange, but Miss Timora has always had her own way of doing things. Perhaps she's using a different strategy. Anyways, I imagine that she met with her father to request financial aid. Why do you say that? I have it on good authority that she was deeply in debt. The only reason why she would speak with her father after all these years. Also why I believe she murdered her father. You think she murdered him for his inheritance? Hearing noises outside. Like, what the heck is going on out there? It's the only motive that makes sense. Alright. A lot to work through here. Prosecution will try to assert that Beatrice committed the murder. But what would she have needed to do to carry out all of the actions described? Narrow down the time in which the murder occurred. Body was discovered after the lockdown was lifted. Leif Freyga saw her father alive before it was activated. He entered his study and she watched as the lock engaged. But the murder occurred after the sword. Oh no. Before Beatrice's departure. Right? Or I guess before. After the lockdown? No. Franco was alive before the lockdown was triggered. That he said that he would stay in his study for the rest of the night. Probably never left his study. Occurred during the lockdown. Right. Murder must have happened during the lockdown. That means the murderer somehow got past the observation wards that protected his room. Those wards blocked teleportation, and they magically locked the only door leading into this room. Steelwind and the Inquisition believe that Beatrice used a sort of spell eating to get past them. Regardless of what they think, we need to assume that the murderer used some kind of magic nullification to get into William's study. That's not necessarily true, is it? What if the murderer entered the room before William locked it? They were in the room when William locked it. They would have been trapped here until he decided to leave. Not only that, they would have been discovered the moment the guards entered his study. Could they use some kind of invisibility? They could have teleported away the moment the King's Guard unlocked the door. Teleportation didn't occur. They didn't find any traces of conjuration magic. What about Celeste's theory of an invisible assailant? I'll admit that we did find traces of illusion magic. The moment the guards saw the body, one of them cast Detect Magic. With that spell, they would have seen any invisible people hiding in this room. Wait, can you use Detect Magic like that? Of course, it's standard procedure. Like all spells, spells, invisibility leaves traces of magic on the person it's cast on. So mages can use detect magic as a way to see through invisibility. Ah. So we know for sure that they weren't here before or after the lockdown. This means that whoever committed the murder used some way to bypass the obdurative wards that protect this room. Next thing to consider is the murder weapon. There's a letter opener that's presumably owned by William Frege. Murderer probably used it to avoid leading evidence that incriminated them. Murderer destroyed murder weapon. Frege's study. Wait, what? Oh, where did the murder? Where did it come from? Lord Frege. Oh wait, the murderer took the murder weapon. In Frege's study. What? Oh no, that. I can. Right, the letter opener came from this room. The murderer probably wanted to avoid using a weapon that would have implicated them, so they decided to use it and leave it here after the deed was done. That leaves a glaring hole in the prosecution's case. What would that be, Mr. Cuthbert?